Hello everyone, this is Fixa and welcome to my impulse decision to start filming plant videos. I'm sure all of you have seen articles and videos about impossible to kill plants that thrive on neglect. There's a million and one such articles out there. What I want to share with you today is the opposite of this. A list, so to say, for us chronic hoverers, overly anxious plant peoples, chronic overwaterers. Before we get into it, I'd like to remind everyone that every such recommendation and general plant care advice always comes with the caveat that you should take your own environment into account. So listen to the advice, read advice from diverse places, and then stop to consider what would work for you. Watch your plants, make sure that you only apply what works, and don't let anyone dictate the great truth to you, because with plants there is no one truth. The care requirements can change from one room to another in the same house, let alone between your home and your favorite YouTubers. That said, let's get into my little list of impossible to overwater plants. First off, here's the one all of you must be thinking about first when you hear about thirsty plants, ferns in general. This here is a maidenhair fern. Not only do ferns like water, they prefer slightly shadier places, so obviously no plant likes complete darkness. Don't keep anything in a completely dark windowless room unless you have really good grow lights, but they also tend to crisp up when exposed to direct sunlight. Maidenhair ferns especially, look at how delicate these leaves are. In my conditions, I water this one twice a week, and so far it's worked out, but let's take into account that I've only had it during the winter when the weather is colder, darker, and more humid, so we'll see how it fares during the summer when there's 40 degrees Celsius in the shade. Please pray for it. Next up here is a Mimosa pudica, the sensitive plant. I might be able to trigger it and show you why is it called that. See? With this I've already survived the summer, and let me tell you, she's a bit of a diva. She needed watering daily, sometimes 2 times a day. So you cannot overwater a mimosa, especially not in the summer. That said, it likes sunlight, so don't keep it in the shade. Next up are carnivorous plants. You can't really see them like this. Let me just hold this one up. This here is a not especially elegant Venus flytrap. It's just coming out of winter dormancy, which it needs because this is not a tropical plant. This grows in the temperate zones of North America, in the United States, and temperate plants usually they do need their winter dormancy, unless they are evergreen, which this is not. And this here is a Nepenthes. Now with Nepenthes, you really do have to read up on this specific variety and species, because some of them really don't like to be overwatered, but ground dwelling ones, they like the Venus flytrap and the Drosera and the Sarracenia. They all like to stand in water, literally soak in water all day, every day during the growth period, of course. Winter dormancy is different. But the reason is where these plants live, plants usually resort to eating animals when the soil is so weak that they cannot get all their required nutrients from it, so they have to get their nitrogen from animals. And these conditions usually occur in bogs, which are of course always wet and moist. This is literally standing in water right now. What you also have to keep in mind, of course, is that during the winter dormancy you have to keep the soil moist, but they don't have to stand in water like this all day. Also, they need cooler temperatures. Don't go below freezing, but somewhere between 0 and 10 degrees Celsius. Next up, you must have heard of this before. It's a rather popular houseplant. It's the Fittonia. Fittonia are almost as much of a diva as the mimosa, and as likely to crisp up and die on you as that is. Well, actually the mimosa is a little bit better, because even if it dies back, it usually gives you new shoots after you water it, but you don't get much of a warning with the Fittonia. Once it starts to crisp, you have maybe half a day, a window to water it, and then it will perk up. But wait any longer and it will die on you. This is best kept in terrariums. Oh yes, and a quick addition. Obviously, the dormancy period care only applies to temperate species, so tropical Nepenthes will be active all year round. They might slow down a bit during the winter, but you have to continue their care as you would all year round. Also, and this applies to pretty much every carnivorous species, since they are used to such weak soil, they do not take kindly to being fertilized. Don't use fertilizer with them. That would only kill them. On the same note, they can't stand hard water either, so only use collected rainwater or distilled water. Next up, we have the Maranta leuconeura. This one looks a bit weird right now because I just repotted it, and only the main plant is established. All the other parts are just cuttings, which may or may not survive. Maranta are a type of prayer plant, and usually regarded as the easiest of the Marantaceae family, which also includes Calathea and such other plants. These ones, it's the usual. You have to keep them moist, but they don't like to sit in water. So you have to make sure that you have the drainage works properly. Like carnivorous plant, the Marantacea also prefers soft water. It will not kill them, hard water, tap water, but they will, since they cannot secrete the minerals in the tap water, they will store them in the tips of their leaves, which will cause them to crisp up. Last one on today's list are peace lily. Now, these also will tell you when they are thirsty, but they give you a much longer grace period than do Phytonia or the mimosa. When they start to droop, you have at least a day or two to still water them and they will perk right back up. Otherwise, they are pretty hardy. They like shadier spots. Otherwise, they will only give you very small, very light green leaves, not these bigger, darker, more luscious ones. Right, that was today's video. I hope I could tell you all something new. We'll see if this video making becomes a habit. If not, that's that. If so, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.